Hello, welcome to Smartboard 101. I'm your host, Robert Rocha. I'm a instructional technology specialist with the Paso Independent School District. Recently, we've been discussing about how to add interactivity into your Smart Notebook lessons. Today, though, we're going to focus more on the basic layout of Smart Notebook. And we're really going to focus today really on what's called the Properties tab. That Properties tab allows a teacher to manipulate any object within Smart Notebook to reflect what they're teaching in their classroom. Another option that we have, though, too, with the Properties tab, is it allows us to even page record what we're doing. So let's say we wanted to record a process of something. We can actually record that process using that Properties tab. So let's go and take a look at this Properties tab and see all the different functions that it has. So I'm going to go back to my smartboard up here. And if you notice here on my Smart Notebook, the Properties tab can be accessed, of course, within the tab itself, and that's going to be the last tab that I have displayed here. It's the one that has the letter A, the lines, and the different colors there. But I can also access it by using it in my toolbar right there. And again, it's the same symbol that I found in my toolbar. But let's go ahead and click on that tab and see what happens here. Now, here, depending on what object is selected, my menu is going to change here. Right now, it's got the very basic menu feature, and it has fill effects. And so if I wanted to change the background color, let's say I wanted to change this background to here, I can change my background color any color that I want it to be. I can do a green, I can do a yellow, I can do like a brown color if I wanted to do that. But that's not too pretty. I'm going to use this little blue color actually. Get that over there. And I can change the background color of my particular feature that's there. Now, if you notice on my options here, I was using the solid fill. If I wanted to, and I wanted to do multiple colors, or two colors, I can use a gradient fill. And now I can choose two different colors. Let's say I want that blue and I want a white color background. And notice here on my slide, it kind of transitions from a darker blue to a lighter blue on that side. So kind of change the gradient that's there. If I go back to my Properties tab, if I wanted to, I can do a pattern fill, and I can put a pattern within my particular Smart Notebook, depending on how I wanted to display that to my students. And even my last option that I have here is an image fill. And so I can actually browse for a file on my computer, and let's say I go to my pictures, and I can do a sample picture here of this that I have here, and go to the sunset. And now I can use the sunset as my background feature of my Smart Notebook. So that's kind of a way you can add different things within your Smart Notebook file that you have. But I'm going to go back to my solid fill. I'm just going to choose the very basic white. Now, if I was to go ahead and add an object, let's say I'm going to grab a pen. And I had this black pen here, and I'm writing it out. But you know what? I really don't want that black pen. I want to choose, let's say, this nice pink pen. If I click on that pink pen, now when I write, I'm writing in the color pink. So I'm not obligated to use those colors that are up here. I can always go back to my Properties tab and change the color of that different pen that I have. Now if you notice too, just below that in my Properties tab, I can change the thickness of the line. So I can be a very thin line if I wanted to make that a very thin line. If I go back to my Properties tab, I can make that a very fat line, very thick one. And I can kind of almost use it like a highlighter if I wanted to do that. Go back to my Properties tab, and I can change my line style from my basic line to different line segments or different dots and segments of lines that I have here. I can choose how my line starts, if I want it to be just a straight line, if I want to put a little square or a little dot or an arrow or something down. I can choose all those different options that I have here. There I go, and there's a fat one like that. So I can manipulate the properties of anything within my Smart Notebook. So go back here. I'm going to go back to being a regular line here. I'm going to choose a normal end. Okay. And I can save that tool property. So if I wanted that pen to be that particular pink pen, I really can say that to my tool properties here, and I can say that if I wanted to say that particular piece. Now, I'm going to put another blank page in here. And so that's how we can change the line style of an object. But let's say I have some different shapes. And let's say I was going to make my own different rectangle. And if I click on that rectangle, and I make a rectangle on my computer here, I'm going to go back to being that cursor, and I go back to my Properties tab. Notice now when I click on this, let me click on that, and I go back to my Properties tab, Notice now I have fill effects, align style, and object animation are new choices that I have here. So my fill effects, if I wanted this, I can make this a purple box, make it purple. If I wanted to, let's say I wanted this bar up here to be red, I can go to line style. I can make that line red, and then if I wanted to, I can make that line even fatter. Make it any way I want to make my shapes any way that I like it to be. It's just a matter of going in it and you're using your imagination to make an object here. So you can see you can change different styles there. If I wanted to, I can make like a little editor box I can have here, just different shapes you can pick from. I'm going to go back to being a regular box that I have there. Okay. So now that I have my box, I've edited my picture there. Click on that again, my Properties tab. I can add actual animation to an object. If I click on Add Object Animation here, now, kind of like in PowerPoint, although it's not as powerful as PowerPoint, when I go to my drop-down menu, let's say I wanted to do a fade out. So let's say I wanted to hide something with that box. Let's say I had the word, I typed in the word EPISD, and I'm going to go ahead and click on that. I'm going to move this down to order. I'll move that back to my backwards. I can now use this to hide behind my object. And so what's really neat about this is once I click on it, it'll fade out, and now I can see my answer that I had listed behind my box. And so in order to put that back, I can always go to my buttons on the top of my menu bar and click on the redo. And that's not what I wanted to do. Let me go back to the next page. And there it is, back to where I was. Move that back underneath there. Whoops. Drop down menu, order, send it back, and place it right there. And so now I can bring my object back to where it was that I had. When I go back to my Properties tab, though, one of the really neat things about this is you have what's called page recording. When I click on page recording, notice now I have two buttons that come up that says Start Recording and Play. If I click on Start Recording, anything that I do on my computer, let's say I'm going to grab another pen. I'm going to grab this red pen, and I'm going to go and type out, again, I'll write the word EPISD. And geez, forgive me, my handwriting is really bad on this machine, so this is not typical. This is called unexpected behavior because the screen is very sensitive on this. So I'm going to go ahead and stop recording. So I'll go back to my Properties tab. I'm going to go to my page recording, click on Stop Recording. Now watch what happens here. If I can get this to show. If I scroll down the very bottom of my page, I have play buttons now that are available to me. So when I hit on play, it'll play the video of me writing down EPISD. Now for some reason, it's taking a little long. There it goes. And forgive me for the handwriting really bad. This is not typical of my nature here, of my handwriting. But this video that you have up there, this flash video that you have, will always be there until you click the red X. So again, this is really good for showing process. Let's say you're doing a math processing with students. You can actually show them that, make that little video, and so students can always go back and refer to that and say, okay, watch the video and see if they can figure it out on their own. And again, it can also save your voice one day if you're sick, if you're recording different objects for same class periods again. But again, it's mostly used to re-instruct materials with your students. And again, if I want to delete that, I click on the X right here, and I can go ahead and delete the video. Notice the file is still there. If I wanted to go ahead and delete that, I can just simply grab the eraser, draw a circle around it, and click in the middle, and it'll erase my particular objects that I have. So as you can see, there are a lot of different features you can use with the Properties tab within Smart Notebook, or that Properties tab, to change objects and manipulate them the way you need to use in your classroom. This pretty much wraps it up for using the Properties tab within Smart Notebook. I hope you like it and will use it in your classroom. Have a good day. Bye-bye.